So, been making reference to digital technologies. What are these magic technologies, if you will, right? These are just basically mobile, which we are all very used to it. We all use mobile technologies, mobile phones, right? A smartphone is a mobile technology. The Android operating system is a mobile operating system. It's a software that runs on mobile devices. And then you have cloud. Cloud is something that it's basically think about cloud as something similar to your electrical grid, right? You don't know where the power is coming from and you don't care. It's exact same thing in the world of software execution. So the software is executed in what is called as the cloud. Is in some remote is provided as a remote service. You don't really care about how it's being done. You just want it to be executed very fast as possible based on your business need. A lot of big companies like Airbnb, Uber, and so on, and even a whole slew of startups, and even big companies, traditional companies like Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, use the cloud for a lot of their internal services as well as external services, right? So the cloud is very powerful in the sense that it is driven through internet technologies. Right? It is an internet technology platform, right? And a concept called virtualization, which I will talk about when we get to the digital technology related terminologies, right? Basically, virtualization abstracts the hardware components, the computing, networking, and storage components of your infrastructure. And so you don't have to worry about those. You just need to push your application onto a cloud service like an Amazon Web Service is an example of a cloud. Microsoft Azure is another example of a cloud computing platform, and Google Compute Platform is another example. Oracle has its own as well, right? Oracle Cloud Platform. So all of these are very good examples of cloud platforms that you can use, right? And there are many others. Right? So social is basically it relates to your favorite Facebook application. I'm sure a lot of us are on Facebook, for example. We have our own Facebook page, if you will, right? So that's an example of how social network, right? And it is also a technology, right? So we can actually have some sort of interface to Facebook in order to be able to connect to Facebook users and relate to them, right? That's how advertisements are served to Facebook users, right? You're using social technologies, right? These are APIs, as it's called. API meaning application programmatic interface, right? So Facebook is considered a social network application in the true sense of the word, because that's what it does. It provides you with a online application to connect with your friends and family, right? And have constant interchange, exchanging notes, exchanging private messages, exchanging photos, and so on, right? You know the drill. So another example would be Twitter, and obviously President is very fond of tweeting. We know that. So Twitter is a social network, right? And you also have Instagram, right? Snapchat. All of these are very popular social networks, right? And they all have different business models. They also have a business side to their application, right? So leveraging social technologies for marketers is very important. Okay? Last but not the least, big data analytics. Right? What is big data? Right? So the word big data has been thrown around a lot. So it's not the big data. Unfortunately, connotes large sets of data. Right? It's not just large sets of data. It's about basically what I consider 4 V's, right? 4 V's. The first one is volume, obviously. The volume of data that is coming at us is huge. Just think about 50 million users active on Facebook every day, perhaps, and then each of them sending at least 5 updates every day, right? Posting 5 updates. That's a lot of data, right? That's volume. Variety. Variety is important as well, right? Variety is actually more important than volume, right? In the world of big data, and there is a reason for that, and I'll go into that more deeper when we do digital marketing research and analytics. That will be an exciting topic to talk about. Variety provides different contexts. That is the big reason why it's so important. And your predictive model, your recommendation model will actually be very superior when it uses a variety of data sources, because they're all coming from different contexts, right? So having data from just one source and then having a huge volume of data, or just because you have a large volume of one or a few sets of data, may not necessarily be good in terms of analytics, on the analytics side of things, if you will, right? So variety is actually more important than volume, right? Volume is good. If you have volumes of data, then you have more data sets across many varieties of data. If those two go very hand in hand. So if you have a lot of variety and you have less volume, that's okay. But if you have a lot of volume and a lot of variety, great, fantastic, because that's really where you want to get to. The model gets much more interesting, and it's and it becomes a richer model, a much more robust model, if you will, right? So big data is classified as 3 classes of data, right? So let me go back to 4 V's. The second V is variety. The third V is basically velocity, right? So at 7 a.m. in the morning, suddenly there's a flurry of activity around something, right? Some event that happened a few years back, for example, in Pakistan, and the Osama bin Laden incident became known through Twitter first, than the news networks, right? So the Twitter buzz was huge around that time, right? And that's really the velocity. Velocity, it comes in bursts, in high velocity, high speed, and many other times it slows down. So the velocity differs from one time window to another, right? So velocity is the third element among the 4 V's. The fourth element is variance, right? Variance meaning that not every time you're going to get all the 140 characters in your Twitter feed, for example, right? You're going to get varied things, simple one-word comments, 2-word comments, all the way to 140 characters and more, right? On Facebook, there is no real restriction. I think it's probably around 300 words. I'm not sure, but that's really the sort of the 4 V's: volume, variety, velocity, and then variance, right? Now let me jump into the 3 types of data that people generally talk about in the world of big data analytics. The first one is structured data, right? Structured data is something that we are all very familiar with. Your order, your invoice, right? It looks, every company has its own internal order template, internal purchase template, and so on, right? We define those terms on our own, right? We say we need an order line or line item, we need an order quantity column, we need a unit price column, and we need the total price column. That's standard stuff that every company wants to define for to record their internal transactions. That's structured data for the most part, right? So that's been very well known, right? Every company uses relational databases to process their transactions, right? And drive business performance. And remember the keyword here: internal data, and then these are transactional data, right? Those are structured data. Semi-structured data, I can give you a very good example that we use every day: email. Email is semi-structured because there's a to field, there's a from field, there's a subject field, right? So in the to and from, you have to enter an email address as a format, right? That's a structure. In the subject, you can write whatever you want, right? But subject is also providing you with the input field, right? So the subject line can be anything. Your email body can be anything, right? You can put anything in your email body, right? So that's an example of semi-structured data, right? It's partially structured. That's what it means. So the third type of data is unstructured data, right? So all your Facebook updates, your Twitter tweets, as you may want to call it, and your Snapchats and your Instagrams. All of these are examples of unstructured data. Audio and video are unstructured because there is no structure to what you can speak or how you want to speak, or is there any certain structure to speak? Nothing like that, right? It's free form. Everybody has their own way of doing that, right? Same thing with video. Video is not structured, right? It's not cataloged in a certain way or like a library is, right? So it's free form. So these are all unstructured data: audio, video, and your text, free form text, essentially, right? So those are the three types of data, and I've given you examples of each one of them as well. So the analytics part goes hand in hand with this data. Just this data alone is not enough, right? So very important, although it is not considered a digital technology, it's data science pretty much, right? You want to incorporate that in under the digital technologies umbrella, because a lot of the analytics on paper models could look good, but it has to be translated into software in order for you to use it consistently and in real time, for example, to process your data and surface insights. So that's really sort of the 4 elements, or 5 if you want to add analytics as a 5th one, right? These form the core digital technologies. Another thing that is a byproduct of this is location. That's not a technology, but mobile, I consider location-based technologies as part of mobile, right? So that's digital technologies for you, and mobile, cloud, social, and big data analytics are the digital technologies that are enabling every business model today and radically changing business economics, right? And your digital capabilities are built around these, right? And we talked about digital capabilities earlier. So the real-time component actually uses these technologies, and you apply the real-time notion to this, and then you have a real-time capability, right? So that's how you need to look at this.